Alright guys, here we are at the Copart lot. It is auction time. Auction starts in a couple hours, and I can't believe I came across another RX8. This is the top of the line 2006 Mazda RX8 Shinka, I believe is how they pronounce it. It's got a custom spoiler. Looks like it's got some custom drag rims. Nice tires. Beautiful car all the way around. It really is a beautiful car. Listed as mechanical damage. Not exactly sure what that is. 98,000 miles on the odometer. Pretty nice interior. This one has all of its speakers. It has the Bose premium package. Seats are pretty dirty. You can, I don't know, maybe you can see that, maybe not. Seats could definitely use a cleaning. And look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but the RPMs go up to 9 grand. Well, they go up to 10, but 9 red lines it. What is this? 6-speed manual. And it has the radio. It's an insurance car. It's from USAA. It says mechanical damage, so it's listed as a run and drive. It does carry a salvage title. I probably could have done a Carfax to get a better idea of what happened to it, but honestly, I don't see really anything that looks like it's that bad on here. I can see that from the lot number, this was brought in June of 2017. So this thing has been sitting here for a year. Very odd. Looking at the wheels, it's got great tires. I mean, great tread on the tires. Yokohama YK580s. But this rim, I saw a bend in it just a second ago, right here. You can see some curb rash, and this rim is definitely bent. So maybe this hit something. At least that's my guess. Maybe the mechanical is some kind of suspension damage. I don't know. But I don't see anything that would make this a vehicle that wouldn't be great to a great running and driving vehicle. Nothing at all. I'm really interested in this. It's at about $1,000 right now. So we'll see what happens. I couldn't imagine having 2 RX8s in the driveway, but let's move on. And who can ignore a super sport, right? 2010 Camaro SS. This is a vandalism. It's not on sale yet. I already looked. Current bid $40. $40, but like I said, not on sale. Sorry for the wind noise. There's a lot number. 79,000 miles. Overall, a pretty clean Camaro. I'm not sure what the vandalism is. It's got new windshield on it. You can see the windshield tape. But other than that, everything else looks good. It's got the Bose premium audio. So I've got a little chip right here. That's about it.
Bumper's got some dings in it too down here.
Classic LS motor. Very clean. Looks to be in great condition. General Motors Performance Division. How about that? There they are hauling a motorcycle. All right, now it's time for a donated vehicle. This is a Lexus. I believe this is a 330. I think it's a 330. One owner, donated vehicle, 164,000 miles. Interesting, it doesn't have a lot number tag on it. Definitely has a few scrapes, bumps and bruises, but this is a clean title, not a salvaged. It's an ES330. It's like it's got good tires. Lots of scrapes though, a little bit of hail damage. Nothing too severe. Headlights need a good cleaning. Hey, this is one of those that looks like maybe it was mechanically maintained, but I smell water. I smell moisture. That's interesting. Okay, so here's the deal. This is a clean title car, and this is what's really strange about this one. That's why I wanted to bring it up here. You can see water, moisture residue on this window. When you open the door, you can smell the mold, the mildew in here. However, I don't see any signs of a flood, but this vehicle is listed as a clear title with secondary damage, minor dents and dings as primary damage, secondary damage being flood. And if you look at this book, so this is an 04, look at this book. You can see this book was soaked. It's molding. All of the paperwork that was in the glove box, molding. So that would tell me, at a minimum, water had to have gotten up to the glove box. But you don't see any corrosion in here. Looks like somebody popped out the emergency release for the transmission right here. It's very strange because I definitely smell it, but I don't see any real signs of water damage, with the exception of those books that should have been in the glove box, unless they were in a door somewhere. Let's take a look under the hood, see if we can see anything in there. Definitely smells like, oh yeah, look at the water coming out of the door. I don't know if you saw that, but water just poured out of the door when I opened it. You could see residue back here. Oh, maybe you can, maybe you can't. There's definitely residue. Discoloration of the seats up here. Discoloration over here. We've got oh yeah. Very important, guys, when you're looking at any car, whether it says it's a flood or not, see the discoloration on the bottom of these mats? You've got some rust. Yeah. It definitely appears that this thing was underwater. The question is how badly was it submerged? How deep was it underwater? It doesn't look so much like it was the front that was underwater. It looks more like it was the back. If it's the back, I'm not overly concerned with it because not much goes on in the back that you need to worry about from a flood. However, the front, you don't want to get water in the engine. You don't want to get water in the transmission. Just bad all the way around. So, let's check the coolant. We've got very good, clean coolant. We'll check the oil. Oil level is good. Oil is clean. Now, I'm going to guess this car has been sitting for a little while because, kind of like the other RX8 that I bought last week, we've got a lot of cobwebs starting to build up in here. We've got a vacuum line that came detached right here. I'll go ahead and hook that up, save somebody the trouble. Transmission, also extremely important. Transmission fluid level is going to be overfilled on this because the car is not running. You need to check these with the engine running, on a level surface with the engine hot. But the transmission fluid does not look like it's overfilled to the point where maybe it is. Scratch that. This has a cold mark on it. I don't know if you can see that, but the bottom is the cold mark. And we've got oil all the way past the hot mark and above, quite a bit above. So perhaps we do have water in the transmission. I don't think I can risk bidding on this one at all. Even though I really wanted to. I thought this would be a great flip car with a clean title. But normally you have to check the transmissions with them hot. But this one has a cold mark on it, and it is so far above cold, it's ridiculous. I mean, way above the cold mark, way above the hot mark. So if I had to guess, I would say we probably do have water in the transmission, and if that's the case, the transmission's done for. No use in even messing with it. Oh well. All right, it looks like Copart's maybe had some cars that's been sitting here a while and they're just now getting around to getting them out of here. This thing, well, it's been sitting for a while. It's been sitting so long, it's actually starting to get eaten by the ground here. This is one I was looking at. I don't know. It shows to be a donated vehicle. It's at $200, 186,000 mile. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll be honest, I didn't even look at the inside yet. No. How about that? No, I'm not doing it. This thing looks like it's been sitting here. Well, hell, the last time it was tagged was 2015. All-wheel drive, though. All-wheel drive. That's gonna have to be a big no. All right, here we have another one that I'm looking at. A Scion. I believe this is a TC, California State Auto Association. 2010 Toyota Scion. It's got the panoramic sunroof. It's got some aftermarket rims. Comes with a free cracked windshield. Or maybe those rims aren't aftermarket. They'll say Scion on them. I didn't realize Scion had such cool looking rims. Okay, yeah, 2010 Scion TC. Great looking car. Good looking tires. You're probably wondering why it's here. Well, this is a flood car. We've had some pretty bad rain in Oklahoma lately, torrential, and seeing an influx of flood cars. So we get in, take a deep breath. Doesn't smell like a flood. I don't smell any water. I don't smell moisture. No funny smells at all, to be honest with you, which is kind of surprising. Ugh. Floor mats are dry and these are plastic, so a lot of times you'll get condensation under them. Floor is dry. Interesting. Dry. This car has got like 80,000 miles. We have power, which is good. Got that panoramic sunroof, which is pretty cool. This car is not going for a lot. It says it's a run and drive. I'd like to pop the trunk. I don't have the keys for this one. At least not yet. 83,000 on the clock. You know, this would be a pretty decent flip. And we got a transmission dipstick. That's good news. A lot of people are really concerned with flood cars, and it makes sense, you know, especially saltwater floods. It's something you got to be real careful about. I'm not overly concerned with flood cars. It doesn't really bother me that much. I will say this, the dipstick, I don't know how well you can see that, but it only barely has any oil on the tip. So it's extremely low on oil, and that concerns me more than being a flood title. Jeez, I can't get that off. Tim, can you see if you can get that off for me?
It's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, this may be more than flood is the concern that I can't get the oil cap off.
Neither can I. I'm not going to tear my fingers off.
All right, so the oil cap is stuck. That's not to say we can't get it off at a later time, but that's definitely concerning. Transmission, very full. Again, you can see, hopefully you can see, we have the cold marks and the hot marks, and it is well above the hot marks, and this engine is ice cold. So, again, you know, it could be overfilled, or more likely is that it has water in the transmission. Somebody's already taken this off. I want to make it clear I didn't do this. This is already disconnected and unhooked. A lot of people want to look at the air filter. When you have a flood car, really want to check this air filter for moisture. And while I do see a lot of leaves, particles from leaves, I do not see anything that looks like moisture was sucked into the engine. That's important. Although, if you take a look inside this intake tube, you can see what looks like some discoloration, possibly from water. So it may have had water in it. It's really difficult to say for sure. But this may have had water in the engine. This filter could have dried. I don't know. I don't think it's inhaled a ton of water, but I would be skeptical. I'm gonna try to put this back on. Somebody obviously took this off, and it wasn't me, but do my best to put it back on for the next guy that tries to start it or something. It's got pressure on the cooling system, but it's ice cold. I don't know. Overfilled transmission fluid scares me, because if that is water in the transmission, it is certain death. I mean, there's no way around it. The car has most likely been started since it was flooded. Who knows how long that water has been sitting in there. And there's no remedy for water in the transmission. I don't care what you've seen online. I don't care what you've heard. It's bogus. If water has been circulated through the transmission, hang it up. It's done. It'll start breaking down the clutches, and the glue actually unadheres, and the transmission shot. There's just no way around it. Definitely something to consider when looking at a flood car. All right, so here's something interesting. I was curious because the Lexus we looked at, the tranny was overfilled. The Toyota, or the Scion TC, was overfilled. Toyota owns Scion, Toyota owns Lexus. So I decided, let's find another car that's not a flood car and check the transmission dipstick, and what I found was kind of amazing. It's overfilled past the hotline on the car that's not a flood car. I don't know how well you can see that. But yeah, well past the hot mark on a cold engine on another Toyota that is not a flood vehicle. So, comment below, please. Tell me what you guys think. These Toyotas seem to just inherently have too much transmission fluid, or I'm doing something wrong. This really gives me something to think about when it comes to these other flood cars then. This car, I shouldn't even be putting on this video, but I can't help it. This was my first car. If anybody ever wondered what was my first car, I almost said Uberman. It's going to take me a while to get used to that. I'm still Uberman, just the channel's changed. But if anybody wanted to know what my first car was, this was it. My first car, I think it was a 93 or 94 Ford Tempo. It was black. It had a chrome grille instead of this style. The rims, instead of rims, it had these Ford hubcaps that were ugly. Mine was the 4-door, not the 2-door. My tail lights were a little bit different. I think instead of like this Oklahoma style brake light right here, it was just all squares or something. But in case you don't know what it was a GL, so it's the same model. In case you're wondering what it's like to get inside of what year is this? A 1993 Ford Tempo. Now keep in mind, my first car was like a 93 or 94 Ford Tempo, and this was in 1998. So not too bad for my first car. I went to Job Corp, I got a GED, I got my certified nursing assistant license, got my driver's license. I accomplished a lot. Got my GED with honors, on approval. 35,000 miles, that's a lie. Current bid is $40. So it says it's got 35,000 miles. I guarantee you that's not the case. Probably 135,000. But this is what the interior of a Ford Tempo looks like. I did have the cruise control. I did have the cassette player right here. I remember I used to go to this little cassette place in the mall, and I would buy the latest Bone Thugs and Harmony, the latest Tupac, air conditioning. I believe this has a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. We'll pop the hood real quick so you can get an idea. I also had tilt. I don't remember where the tilt is, but maybe this one doesn't have it. I had tilt in mine. Here's your windshield wipers. Your headlights are down here. And I'll tell you what, you can knock this car for being ugly, but this car was always good to me. It was a very reliable car, and as a teenager, I thought it was a race car, and I raced it. I drove it like mad. I never changed any of my fluids because I didn't really know too much about all that. This was a good car, and I don't know what engine's in it, but I'm certain this has got the 2.3 liter. Yeah, 2.3 liter, right there, 2.3. There she is. Ah, nostalgia. I literally, now let me tell you, when I was a kid, in order to race our stupid, ridiculous little 4-cylinder cars, we didn't put fart can mufflers on them. We didn't put these massive cold air intakes that are actually sucking in hotter air than the factory air box. We just raced them. You just pull up at a stoplight and you race what you had, and you know, you win, you win, you lose, you lose. Needless to say, I lost a lot because, you know, it's a crappy car. But any of you out there ever owned a Ford Tempo? Maybe your mom owned a Ford Tempo. Maybe your grandmother owned a Ford Tempo. I owned a Ford Tempo, and I love this car. Always will. Who's ready for Carnage time? I've already showed you everything I'm interested in, and I know you're probably pissed because I waited until Tuesday to do this video. It's so much easier just to do all this at the same time. Instead of making separate videos and bidding, I'm just going to get all this over right now. This car is still sitting here. I mean, I wouldn't expect it's going to sell anytime in the near future. This is that Impala I showed you guys a few weeks back. I can't even, yeah, lost for words. Like, just, I don't know. I don't know. What a mangled mess. I didn't get this close up to it the last time. Some of you commented and told me that you knew what the story was on it. I don't know. You know, I've heard that children were in it and children died. I've heard it was a grandmother and her grandchildren, they died. I don't know. You know, I tried looking it up just to get the story, and I had a very difficult time finding anything about it. You could think this may have been the jaws of life or something that literally cut this right here. I mean, just, I don't know. I don't know. But I figured I'd give you guys a little bit more of a close-up of this poor car. If you want the lot number, I don't know, some of you love research and stuff. There's the lot number. You can pull the VIN and everything from there, and you know, if you find what happened, I pray that there were just no children in this car. I really do. It's a little late now, I guess, but if you find out anything on this, if you have any articles, any links to what happened here, please post them down in the comment section below. Share them with the rest of us. GMC Sierra, quad cab, short bed, Z71 package. This thing looks like it went swimming for sure. Definitely not a horrible wreck. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's bad. It's real bad. But you know, after seeing that Impala, not much really compares to that at this point. A Toyota Venza? Never heard of that. Not a bad looking car. Wonder what it's doing over here in the Carnage lot. Nissan Altima. They ran up under something. Good Lord. I mean, they literally ran under something. Maybe a semi-truck, I don't know. Lots of red paint. And that is paint. That's not blood. That's lots of red paint. So they definitely drove up underneath something. Just a reminder, texting can wait. That's serious. That's no joke. Texting can wait. 2 seconds, you find yourself underneath a semi-truck. It says TLE on it. Does that stand for Walmart Tire Lube Express? Is this what happens when you drop your car off for an oil change at your local Walmart Tire Lube Express? You get it back like this. And they tell you this is how it was when you brought it in. Joking. I don't want to get sued by Walmart. Every now and again, you find a really cool old car out here. '63 Buick
Skyline.
Other. My brother just said it's a Buick Skylark. My brother is with me. He tends to hide from the camera. I don't know why. I think he's afraid of some of you women trying to come after him. He might just have to say yes.
I will ruin your video.
Mwah. I like this. I really do. Of course, my fiance would kill me for buying something like this. She would never allow it. And for good reason. But either way, I can at least share the video with you guys. Alright, so now we've looked at the cars. I hope you guys enjoyed this portion of the video. Now it's time to bid. So we got to get back to the house, maybe hit up Starbucks, start some bidding, see if we can get something. I don't have a whole lot of money in the bank right now. I just got through spending about 10 grand paying off credit card debt, and I am now free of credit cards. All my credit cards are paid for, but I still want to try to get something if we can help it, so we're going to bid.